All right, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Science Writing Heuristic HyperDoc. First thing that you need to know is that this is a self-completing HyperDoc. What that means is that as your students fill in and type within these light blue areas, there will be images that show up here telling them that they're finished. In addition, there will also be links that show up here so students can navigate. Now, students can not only navigate using these links, but they can also navigate through the tabs down here below. So if you take a look, the order of what we need to do for the scientific process is down here. So let me show you what I mean by self-completing. So when I type in Chris, this link shows up, and the navigation to go to the next page also shows up too. So let's click on this to go to the next section, the hypothesis. We have a research question. Is there a correlation between a person's age and their reaction time? So what we're gonna do is, I'm just gonna type in real quick, hypothesis. And you can type in, read the instructions. You can write it out in this format. If a person's age is increased or decreased, then their reaction time will be longer, equal, or shorter. So I'm just going to put hypothesis. But you type in your own hypothesis. And as we complete this, as we check in these different boxes, these completion boxes on each of the subsequent pages with an X, right here, the next link will show up. And let me show you too what the images look like from this completion map. So I'm going to go back to the research question. And so as soon as I put that X into the hypothesis area, this image showed up. All right, so let's go back. We're going to head to the procedures and data. This is a science writing heuristic, and the format, all of this, all depends on what you want your students to be able to do. If you want them to work at a higher level of inquiry, if that's what your lesson is all about, then you can have the students write their own procedures in this area. They can write their own research questions as well. Since I'm kind of guiding you through this, I wrote out all of the procedures, and I've also given you all of the links to everything. So the first thing that we're going to do is open up this Gizmo link right here. We're going to open up, and bam. All right, so what is the experiment? It says each time the ruler drops, catch it by hitting any key on your keyboard. We're going to do this 5 times if you read the procedures. Begin experiment. We're catching the ruler each time. Do your best. 3rd time. 4th and last one now. And, oh, that was a big, we're gonna click end experiment, and that stops it. What I wanna do is I wanna calculate the mean here, the average. And so what we're gonna do is click show statistic and then go down to mean. And it looks like I have an average of 20.2 inches is how far the ruler dropped. I'm 37 years old. So what we're gonna do is we're going to read the procedures. Down here, this is the link to our form for us to be able to input our data. So I'm 37 and my mean distance was 20.2. You don't have to put any units or anything like that into the text boxes. Click submit and we're good to go. Let's go to the next part. It says use the link at the right to view the raw data. So we're going to click here, open up the raw data, and there it is. My last submission, 37 and 22.2. I'm going to select this data, right click, copy, go back to my data area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it into this area. So right click to my nice little data table, and we're going to paste in all of that information. So I want you to follow the instructions here. So what I've done is I've created a nice little GIF for you to follow, for you to create your chart, add your trend line, add the equation, and give us an R² value. So if you click here, it will pull up this 30-second long GIF that just keeps repeating. It'll tell you exactly how to add a chart, which chart type, and how to customize it so that you add all of the pertinent information. Let's go back. So you'll add your chart. It'll show up here once you do that. And here's the neat thing. What we want to do is not only give us the quantitative data, we also want to describe that quantitative data. So it might be like a positive relationship, we'll just say, all right? And with our students, we'd want to make sure that they're writing out in complete sentences, of course. But for time purposes, we finished. And now we have that next link to go to the next part. So this is the neat thing here. This is a self-completing doc. And so whatever the student typed right on the previous page as they describe their quantitative data will show up right here. And it's really neat because now what they can do is they can refer back to that research question and their description of the quantitative data as they make their claim that's based on evidence, and they can explain why they came up with the claim that they did. Once they finish that area, X in that, and we've got our final page. This is the sharing and reflection piece. Students will be able to go back to their original hypothesis, reflect on this hypothesis, and discuss whether or not results with other class members were similar or different. Once they've clicked and finished, put an X right there, we can go back to the original page, and look at this. This task completion map is 100% filled in. If you have any questions, take a look. This is my email address, justucr@nv.ccsd.net. You can always email me, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions.